This is your need to know. This is your need to know.
All right, so have you guys heard this? Keanu Reeves, John Wick himself, might be done with the super intense action stuff.
Yeah, it's everywhere online right now.
And we are diving into a Reddit thread that's blowing up over an article about Keanu Reeves' comments. It sounds like he said something that got everybody talking while he was out promoting Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
It's kind of wild how, like, one little comment can send a whole fandom into a tizzy right.
Oh, yeah.
And what's really got people going is this whole, like, push and pull between Keanu clearly loves this character.
Yes.
But his body, maybe he's not so into it anymore, right? Like the wear and tear of those crazy action sequences.
It makes you think, like, is this like a bigger thing in like action movies? Are we going to see more of our favorite action stars kind of having to slow down?
Yeah, it definitely makes you wonder, like, how is Hollywood dealing with aging action heroes, especially guys like Keanu, who are known for that, like, crazy physicality. It's not like he's the first one to kind of bump up against this. You know? Think about Bruce Campbell and, like, trying to do the Evil Dead stuff as he's gotten older.
That's so true. And actually, a lot of folks in this Reddit thread are comparing Keanu to Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
And some of them are getting pretty creative about how to solve this whole dilemma.
Yeah.
Someone even suggested, like, a Mad Max-style Evil Dead movie where Ash is, like, decked out in some crazy souped-up wheelchair, just, like, taking down deadites left and right.
Awesome.
I mean,
it's kind of amazing how fans are, like, wrestling with this, right? Like, some people are totally on board with figuring out ways to keep these guys in the game. Even if it means changing up the action a little bit. But then there's other people who are like, no, you know what? Some characters are so tied to that physicality that maybe it's better to just let them, like, retire gracefully than trying to, like, force them into stuff they can't really do anymore.
Totally. And it's not even just like horror or action comedy either.
Right.
I mean, think about Harrison Ford doing those later Indiana Jones movies.
Oh, yeah.
When he was in his 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
That sparked a whole debate on this thread.
Right.
Like, did using stunt doubles earlier in his career actually help him keep going later on?
That's a good question.
Yeah. It makes you wonder if there's, like, a trade-off there.
Yeah.
If you do all your own stunts early on, maybe your career is actually shorter in the long run.
Interesting.
And it's not just, like, speculation either. Denzel Washington himself said that even playing basketball with President Obama was too much for his knees.
Wow.
Like, these guys are in amazing shape. They're at the top of their game, and even they hit a point where it's like their body's just like, nope.
Yeah.
So where does that leave the future of John Wick?
Yeah.
Well, the internet has ideas, as always.
I bet.
We've got people talking about a fully animated John Wick 5, which could be visually incredible.
Oh, that would be cool.
To John Wick passing the torch mentor style to, like, a younger assassin. Someone even suggested the sniper from the first movie as a potential successor.
Okay.
And, of course, you've got your classic Reddit suggestions.
I'm sure.
The one that really got me was John Wick fighting dogs in the 6th film.
Wow.
I mean,
that's a new one.
It's so out there.
Yeah.
But it speaks to how much people just want more John Wick.
Totally.
Even if it means going in a completely bonkers direction.
Yeah.
But let's be real here. John Wick 4 ended on kind of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, wait, is that it?
Yeah.
Is John Wick actually gone? And if he is, can the franchise even go on without him?
Right. That's the big question, isn't it?
It is. And there are good arguments on both sides.
Yeah.
Some fans think the story's over, it's reached a natural conclusion,
Yeah.
but others are ready for the world to just keep expanding, even if it means moving on from John Wick himself.
Interesting. You know, it's interesting to think about how other action franchises have dealt with losing their main star. Like, maybe it gives us some clues about what could happen with John Wick.
Ooh, that's a great point. Do you have any, like, specific examples?
The most obvious one is James Bond.
Right.
We've seen, like, a bunch of different actors play Bond over the years.
Yeah.
Each one kind of brings their own thing to it.
Yeah.
And the franchise has not just survived, it's, like, gotten bigger.
Totally.
It shows you that sometimes the character's actually bigger than any one actor.
But is James Bond really a fair comparison, though? I mean, he's almost like designed to be interchangeable. You've got the gadgets, the cars, the women.
Yeah.
It's almost like a formula.
Right.
John Wick feels way more connected to Keanu's performance.
Okay.
Like the way he moves, that quiet intensity, even like the sadness he has. It's hard to imagine someone else doing that.
That's true. There's definitely something special about Keanu as John Wick.
Yeah.
But remember, the first movie got us hooked, not just on John Wick the guy,
Right.
but on that whole world they created. This like secret society of assassins with all their crazy rules and history.
Yeah.
That world could totally have stories, even without John Wick in the middle of it.
So you're saying we shift the focus from like the individual to the whole world.
Exactly.
Kind of like how The Mandalorian expanded the Star Wars universe by showing us like a totally new part of the galaxy.
Yeah, and we're already seeing that a bit with the Continental.
Oh, yeah.
It goes deep into like the history of the hotel
Uh-huh.
and that mysterious Winston guy.
Right.
It gives us a whole new way to look at John Wick's world.
And we can't forget Ballerina,
Oh, yeah.
the spin-off with Ana de Armas. It's still in the same world, but with a brand new character and story.
Yeah, it's like they're testing the waters, seeing if the John Wick universe can stand on its own without John Wick himself.
Yeah.
Ballerina could be a turning point.
Uh-huh.
If it's a hit, it'll prove there are more good stories to tell in this world that don't need John Wick there.
Right.
It's about building a whole world of interesting characters.
Yeah.
Deadly rivalries, shady organizations, all hiding right under our noses.
It's making me think of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, yeah.
And how they made this giant web of stories and characters. Could the John Wick franchise do something like that?
It could definitely happen.
Yeah.
The key is making sure each spin-off or sequel feels new and exciting.
Right.
You know, offering something different, but keeping that John Wick style and feel.
But there's a risk too, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
We've seen what happens when studios try to milk a successful idea for all it's worth.
Total.
It can lead to franchise fatigue, where people just get tired of seeing the same thing again and again.
Yeah, you got to avoid that.
Yeah.
It's about finding that balance between keeping the stuff that made the franchise work and adding new stuff that keeps people interested and wanting more.
And let's not forget about the money.
Oh, right, the business side of things.
John Wick is a box office monster.
It is.
And Keanu Reeves is a huge reason for that. Can the franchise keep making that much money without him?
That's the question that keeps studio execs up at night.
I bet.
Keanu is a global star.
Uh-huh.
His name alone puts butts in seats.
Yeah.
But John Wick isn't just successful because of him.
Okay.
These movies have also gotten great reviews.
True.
For the action, the cool visuals, and that whole intricate world they built.
Yeah.
Those things could totally work with other stories and characters in the same universe.
So it all comes down to execution.
Pretty much.
If the spin-offs and sequels are good, well acted, and give us something new and exciting,
People might not even miss John Wick.
Or maybe they'll miss him so much that they demand he comes back even louder.
Oh, totally.
We've seen that happen with other franchises.
Right, and that's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Shows how much power the fans have. Fan expectations can totally change the direction of a franchise.
For good or bad.
Exactly.
It's a tough balancing act.
Yeah.
Trying to please the fans while also staying true to what the creators want.
Right.
And of course, respecting what the actors can do.
Absolutely.
And speaking of fan opinions, this Reddit thread we're looking at is all over the place. Some people are totally down for more John Wick, even without Keanu, while others feel like the story's run its course.
It's cool though, right?
Yeah.
All these different opinions.
Yeah.
It just shows how powerful this franchise is. It sparks so much discussion.
Yeah.
And that means people really care about these characters and this world.
It means the story really hit home.
Yeah. And that's a win in itself.
It's like they say a good story leaves you wanting more, but sometimes the best way to honor something is to know when to let it go.
It kind of feels like we're at like a crossroads with John Wick, right?
Yeah.
You've got this awesome world just begging to be explored more.
Totally.
Full of assassins and secrets and all that.
Right. Yeah.
But then there's the big question.
Can it really work without Keanu Reeves?
It really makes you think about like wanting more of what you love.
Yeah.
Versus knowing when to like walk away on a high note.
Right.
Like as fans, we always want that next chapter. But sometimes it's better to just let a story be what it is.
Yeah.
And let it like hit you without needing a million sequels.
Right. It's that whole like quit while you're ahead thing.
Exactly.
But then again, what if the creators come up with something amazing?
Hmm.
What if they find a way to keep it fresh without losing what made it great in the first place?
It's true. We just don't know what's next for John Wick.
Yeah.
I mean, guess all we want.
Uh-huh.
But it's really up to the filmmakers in the end.
So where does that leave us?
Yeah.
Fans, I mean...
I think it comes down to trust.
Okay.
Trust that the creators will make choices that, like, respect the franchise.
Yeah.
Trust the actors, whether it's Keanu or someone new.
Yeah, huh?
And maybe even trust ourselves to be open to something different.
That's a good point. I think one of the biggest takeaways from all this is that even in these, like, crazy action movie worlds,
Yeah.
real life still matters.
Oh, totally.
Aging injuries, creative burnout, all that stuff can change how a franchise goes.
It's true.
And in a way, it reminds us that the best stories
Yeah.
often reflect, like, real human experiences.
Got it.
It's like we get so caught up in the fantasy that we forget there are real people behind it all.
With their own limits and dreams and all that.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with this thought.
Okay.
Instead of worrying about whether there'll be a John Wick 5, let's just appreciate the awesome ride we've already had.
That's true.
4 movies that pushed action to the limit.
Yeah.
A character that's become iconic.
Totally.
And a world that's still so fascinating.
It's a legacy worth celebrating no matter what happens next.
Exactly.
Well said. And on that note, we'll say goodbye for now. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into John Wick.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Keep those imaginations going, and we'll catch you next time.
This is your need to know. We're going in my head. You know I don't care. There are wolves in the night. We're moving through the air, but I don't get scared. Yeah, we make it out of here. Couldn't sleep last night. The lightning lit the sky. No time to wait on the hourglass. We're gone in the wind when you take my hand. Catch me if you can. Catch me if you can. Whoa. When darkness falls over you, hear me calling. I'm carving my way through fear. All around you, you can't stop me. Keep saying we're through here, but I'm whispering secrets in your ear. There was a fire and a flash, eyes on the prize, so I'm coming in last. No fairy tale, but I sure hope it ends alright. I keep hanging on tight, push on through the night. I couldn't sleep last night. The lightning lit the sky. No time to wait on that hourglass. We're gone in the wind when you take my hand. Catch me if you can. 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 Run, run. Catch me if